Hello, world. As you guys might know, I'm an author and a therapist, and I try and do, like a lot of videos, I do some stuff with cars, but this one I'm going to be going over some practical tools for authors or pending authors or wherever you are in your process, or even if you're an established author. Today, I'm going to talk about beta readers. Now, every author self-help thing is going to tell you, get a beta reader, maybe an alpha reader, maybe a blah, blah, blah. Mind you, they never tell you often. Well, I mean, they might tell you what a beta reader is, but like, where does one find a beta reader? You know, beta is a type of fish. Do I want them to read my book? No, of course not. I don't know if fish can read. Sorry, that's a ADD moment. But that shows, I think, the ambiguity of it. And sometimes when you're looking at beta readers, it is important to have an idea of what you want and what their purpose is, because sometimes people, I'm in a different YA fantasy groups, and there's always somebody asking, hey, can you be a beta reader, blah blah blah, and you might get in from, I'm gonna go into statistics real quick just so you have an idea. So you have what they call a bell curve, and most people in the bell curve are in the average. So anytime you ask for a beta reader, you might get somebody within the average, the mean average, and which might also be the mode average if you know the difference. But you may actually be getting a very average person being your beta reader, when maybe you need somebody who can really understand the deep lore of your book, or maybe you need somebody who can really understand pacing, or if you're very early, maybe you only have a few chapters. If I get that average person, you may get information that doesn't really apply, or maybe it does apply, but the person reading your book has an agenda. Maybe they themselves are an author and they see your book and see your book as competition, or maybe they're looking down on you. Because beta readers can also draw personalities that are full of themselves, but you won't know that because you're looking for a beta reader. And sometimes now for me, most people know I don't beta read. And very rare occasions I will. And when I do, I will say, what do you want me to review? Now, most beta reviewers are not going to say that. The reason I do that is, when I was a TA and I used to work with master's degree students, and they would have me, hey, can you review my assignment? Or when I had to, I'd be like, okay, what do you want me to critique? Do you want me to look at the grammar, sentence structure, articles? Because that tells you, because if I just edit your grammar, that doesn't mean your book's good. Sorry, this is take 3. This is going to look really awkward when pasted next to the other one, but it's okay. We're imperfect people. But yeah, it's important. When I would work with master students, it's important because you want to be able to know what you can do and what you can change and what needs to be changed. Because so one time, many years ago, the first time I had somebody beta read for me was the person said, my character sounded American, and they sounded like somebody that was very infatuated with anime, Final Fantasy, video games, and saw that as a negative. But here's the thing. I was born in California. I live in Texas. I'm an American. My characters sound American because I am American, and I wrote them with American bend to them. And if you've read my book, Those That Live by the Sword, there's a lot of swords and a lot of Final Fantasy and animes, because those are my influences. Hell, I got 2 characters that are inspired to a degree by somebody from Final Fantasy or an anime series. So that person saw those as a negative, not recognizing that's the population I am wanting my book to be read by. That's my main area. Now, mind you, there have been people outside of that main population that have read my books, or have purchased my books, right? But that wasn't my intended audience, but other people can read it too. So, but that beta reader couldn't see outside of themselves. They were thinking that was a negative, not that was the intent, not, okay, how well did my manuscript reach out to people of that population? How well did my manuscript reach out to people who are American or like anime? Now, that would have been constructive. That would have been helpful. And then the next person I had told me, hey, Your book is called Those Who Live by the Sword. There should be some more sword fighting in it. And I was like, you know what? Bet. So I added another chapter. Mind you, it's the most gangster chapter, or I think, in all of book one. And that one chapter actually made me change some of the way I ended book one, which influenced a lot of things that are in book two and book three now. So his one comment was actually very helpful. Whereas the other, it felt discouraging at first until I broke it down and I talked with enough people, because I'm like, this person really didn't get it. So that's where it's important for you guys, when you're looking at beta readers, be discerning and be specific about what you want to hear. Now, sometimes if you say somebody, I just want somebody to read it, make sure the person who can just read it is able to look at it through a wide lens and not just their personal, I like it, don't like it. They got to be like, because it can be a content I don't care about, but I could tell you, you know what? The pacing's good here. You're repeating a word too much here, right? I can do that and have no interest in the topic. Or I can be like, okay, this scene looks really good, and still have no interest in it. Because I'm not necessarily the target population, but I can be analytical and be able to separate myself from it. But not every beta reader can. So it's important to have beta readers, but it's more important the quality of the beta reader and what you expect to get from them. Because if it doesn't help you, you're potentially opening yourself for unnecessary hurt. You may interpret messages from their comments that are not really fair. Because you know what? You are creating. The messages you have and what you're creating, people want to hear. There might be 10 people on this whole planet that want to hear it. They deserve to hear it. And don't be discouraged.